What up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. We've got a packed show today with plenty of UFC and MMA news to break down, so let's jump right into it. We'll start with Paddy Pimblett and the aftermath of UFC 3 storm. Following his tough decision loss, images of Paddy's face began circulating online, showing just how much damage he absorbed in the fight. By the numbers, he took close to 200 significant strikes, and the photos made it very clear that it was a brutal night in the cage. Before we go any further, make sure to drop a like on the video. If you enjoy this kind of MMA news coverage, it really helps support the channel. Now, 1 week removed from the fight, Paddy is already looking far closer to normal than many expected. Well, almost. Paddy recently uploaded a video to his YouTube channel where he discussed UFC 3's fight fight and gave fans an update on his condition. According to him, the bruising and swelling had gone down significantly compared to the initial photos that shocked the MMA community. Paddy addressed the concern directly, explaining that people thought his face was completely destroyed, but he was still only a week out from the fight. He admitted his face was sore and there was still some bruising, but overall he felt fine. The main issue, according to Paddy, was irritation around his eyes, which he blamed on fingernail scratches during the fight. Other than that, he insisted there was nothing seriously wrong with him. He even pointed out that before the fight, he said he wanted to make Justin's face look different, and while that did happen long term, he did manage to do it for a couple of days, just as Justin did to him. Paddy said he had some big cuts and swelling immediately after the fight, but a week later things were already settling down. He mentioned a possible scratch or minor issue near his eye, but stressed that it wasn't anything serious. Importantly, there does appear to be any indication that Pimblett is dealing with major eye problems, especially nothing on the level of the issues his fellow countryman Tom Aspinall has dealt with in the past. That alone is a big relief for fans who were worried after seeing those initial photos. During the same video, Paddy also made an interesting statement about Justin Gaethje and the future of the lightweight division. Pimblett said he wants Justin to go on and defeat Ilia Topuria to become the undisputed champion. The reason? Paddy wants the opportunity to run it back with Gaethje down the line. Paddy explained that he asked for the best version of Justin Gaethje before their fight, and that exactly the version that showed up. He gave Gaethje credit and said hats off to him for the performance. From Paddy's perspective, he wants Justin to beat Ilia for the belt so they can potentially have a rematch in the future. At the same time, Pimblett acknowledged the reality of the situation. He understands there's a strong chance the rematch never happens. He admitted that Justin is near the end of his career, and if Gaethje fights Ilia, then possibly fights Max Holloway or someone else and retires. That might be it. Still, Paddy made it clear that he hopes Justin will step up for a rematch if the opportunity ever presents itself. That naturally brings up the big question, what's next for Paddy Pimblett? Leading up to UFC 3 Night Fight C, Paddy had plenty of back-and-forth exchanges with Dan Hooker. Things got heated enough that both fighters openly said it would be on site the next time they crossed paths. So when Paddy was reacting to UFC 3 Night FC over the weekend, it was surprising to see him take shots at Hooker again. While watching Dan Hooker's fight with Benoit Saint-Denis, Paddy criticized Hooker's performance and went as far as accusing him of quitting during the fight. Paddy commented that in the first half of the round, Hooker's grappling did. He actually looked too bad and joked that maybe Hooker took his earlier comments to heart. But as the fight went on and Saint-Denis opened Hooker up, Paddy claimed that Hooker quit once things got tough. He pointed out the finish and said it was nice to see Hooker get stopped after all the trash talk. That adds even more fuel to the fire between the two, and it raises an interesting question for matchmaking. Does it make sense to book Paddy Pimblett against Dan Hooker next? It's a fight with built-in tension, personal animosity, and plenty of storyline potential. Next up, we move to Alexander Volkanovski, who continues to receive massive praise following UFC 3 fights. Daniel Cormier and Tom Aspinall both had high praise for Volkanovski, with DC making a particularly strong statement. Over the last several years, Volkanovski has built an incredibly strong case for being the greatest featherweight of all time. After UFC 3's fight, Daniel Cormier reacted to the event on his YouTube channel and made it clear that, in his eyes, the debate is essentially over. Cormier praised Volkanovski for never trying to pick easy fights. He pointed out that Volkanovski does avoid dangerous contenders and isn't interested in shortcuts. If someone is next in line, Volkanovski is ready to fight them. DC emphasized that Volkanovski just wants to fight the best available competition, regardless of the risk. DC went on to say that while fans rightfully love Jose Aldo and Max Holloway, Volkanovski has now won his 8th UFC featherweight title fight. 4 of those wins came against Aldo and Holloway, the 2 other fighters most commonly mentioned in the featherweight GOAT conversation. According to Cormier, that alone speaks volumes. He said it was Volkanovski's night, calling him the best in the world and praising his consistency, toughness, and skill. DC also added that he doesn't see Volkanovski slowing down anytime soon. Even many of the most loyal Aldo and Holloway fans are starting to admit that the argument against Volkanovski is becoming harder to make. Max Holloway had an incredible championship run, but he lost to Volkanovski 3 times. Holloway is also younger, which only strengthens Volkanovski's case. As for Aldo, while his decade-long reign was legendary, his back-to-back losses to Holloway in 2017 shifted the landscape of the division. Cormier wins, the only one impressed. Tom Aspinall also reacted to UFC 326 on his YouTube channel and called Volkanovski's performance the best of his career. Aspinall said he thoroughly enjoyed the card, especially the main event, and even suggested that Volkanovski isn't just maintaining his level. He's still getting better. Sticking with UFC 326. Diego Lopes also provided a new update on his health following his loss. After the fight, Lopes posted a message directed at Volkanovski, showing nothing but respect and acknowledging that there were no excuses. He later shared a photo from the emergency room, smiling, while suggesting that he may have broken both of his feet. That post understandably raised concern, but Lopes has since clarified the situation. He took to Instagram again and explained that while the initial diagnosis suggested possible breaks, further testing at the hospital showed that everything was okay. According to Lopes, he suffered fractures in both feet, but surgery won't be necessary. He'll be using boots and crutches for a few weeks as he recovers. Now let us run through some quick UFC updates making headlines. Oban Elliott had a rough night at UFC 326, where he was submitted by Jonathan Miff in the 2nd round. Following the loss, Elliott shared an update on Instagram detailing the injuries he suffered. He explained that he felt like he was having the performance of his career until he took a shot that severely impacted his vision. He rushed forward trying to close the distance, and buy time, only to wake up moments later in the octagon. CT scans later revealed a broken orbital wall and floor in his left eye. Elsewhere on the card, Alex Perez made a strong return to the win column with a highlight reel finish over Charles Johnson. That performance caught the attention of Tim Elliott, who took to social media to call Perez out. Tim Elliott stated that despite being in the UFC for a long time, he has rarely received the fights he has asked for. He formally requested a matchup with Perez, acknowledging that they share management but still pushing for the bout. On paper, it is a matchup that makes a lot of sense, especially considering their close rankings. In broadcasting news, longtime UFC desk personality Karen Bryant confirmed that she will not be joining Paramount Plus broadcasts. After 14 years with the UFC, Bryant announced that her time at the desk has come to an end. She expressed gratitude for the experiences, the crew, and the people she worked with, emphasizing how much the behind-the-scenes staff contributed to the shows. Next, Dana White made headlines once again after going off on Oscar De La Hoya. During an interview at a Zuffa boxing event, Dana took several shots at Oscar, accusing him of being on a sinking ship and even mocking his financial situation. Dana claimed that De La Hoya may need to return to OnlyFans to pay his rent, alleging that Oscar owes millions. The comments were blunt, aggressive, and instantly sparked reactions across the combat sports world. Moving on, Mauricio Ruffy opened up about an extremely difficult week, leading up to his UFC 326 victory. Ruffy earned a big win over Rafael Fiziev, securing a 2nd-round stoppage in what was his first fight back since a previous loss. During his post-fight interview, Ruffy revealed that he had recently lost his brother, who took his own life. The emotional revelation stunned fans and added a deeper layer to his performance. Later, during the post-fight press conference, Ruffy shared that he was also dealing with illness and serious back pain in the days leading up to the fight. He credited his faith for getting him through the night and said he was incredibly grateful for the victory despite everything he had endured. Fiziev also addressed fans after the loss, acknowledging that he took heavy damage and suffered a technical knockout. He admitted his head was badly beaten up, but said he has no regrets, emphasizing that he chose this life and accepts both the wins and losses. Given that Fiziev has now lost 4 of his last 5 fights, many are speculating that some time away from competition may be necessary. Next, Khabib Nurmagomedov explained why he believes his team is the best in the sport. Khabib said that his fighters push limits every day in Oran, dissatisfied with simply competing. According to him, the mindset is simple: eat, train, sleep, repeat. He emphasized that the goal is championships, not participation, and said he is proud to have the top pound-for-pound fighters in both the UFC and PFL coming from the same team. Khabib also revealed that he prioritized Usman Nurmagomedov's preparation over Umar's recently. With both fighters competing around the same time in different parts of the world, Khabib explained that Usman's opponent presented a tougher challenge, which required more focus. He noted that Umar was still well prepared, with strong training partners in Las Vegas, and even suggested that Umar's actual fight was easier than some of the sparring sessions in camp. Finally, Dana White and the UFC are facing major backlash over a recent weigh-in controversy involving Aaron Tao. After images surfaced showing Tao allegedly using the curtain for leverage and lifting his heels off the scale, fans were furious. Many called for him to be removed from the roster altogether. However, during UFC 3 it was reported that the fight is expected to be rescheduled, sparking outrage across the MMA community. Fans criticized the UFC for allowing what they viewed as blatant cheating to go unpunished, arguing that it sends the wrong message and is unfair to Tao's opponent. The situation has become one of the most talked about controversies of the week. And with that, we'll wrap up today's MMA news. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future updates. We'll see you all tomorrow.